Every year I say, new year, new me, but every year I end up tapped out long before my summer holiday. How do I avoid burnout?
The key to avoiding burnout is maintaining what we call the legs of the chair. So that's focusing on exercise, diet, sleep, and social. Those four things, specifically sleep, are going to be the things that keep you from getting tapped out. So I'll expand on that a little bit. There are three stages of burnout: mild, moderate, and severe. At each one of those stages, there's one of the P's goes. And so the first P that goes is patterns. Patterns is self care. The second P that goes is performance. So that would be in moderate. And then in severe is personality. Focusing just on your question, you're talking about mild burnout that might lead to moderate burnout. So the first P that would slip would be the patterns of self care. And that would be what we call the legs of the chair. It's about maintaining a strong regimen of exercise, diet, sleep, and social life. And when I say strong regimen, I'm not asking you to start running marathons. It's actually quite the opposite. Just figure out what is the state of activity that you're at your healthiest with that you can maintain for the longest and focus on maintaining that. You know you're starting to get mildly burnt out when your patterns of self-care start to slip. So for example, for some people who exercise relatively regularly and it's part of their self-care, if they have a break in working out that's more than 2 weeks, that's a good sign that you are starting to get mildly burnt out. So a break of 1 week or even 2 weeks is relatively normal when people have different changes, which could also include vacation. But anything longer than that, something that's part of your patterns of self-care, if it slips for more than a 2 week period, it's a real indicator. So when we think about the legs of the chair, think of it this way. If a chair has four legs, you can sit in it comfortably. And that sitting in it comfortably is basically taking care of yourself, both your physical and mental health. But if one of the legs slips, so for example, of those four that I mentioned, exercise, diet, sleep, and social, if one of them slips for more than 2 weeks, imagine a chair that only has three legs. You can sit in a chair that only has three legs, but it's requires you start activating your core. So it's like more effort, which means you're taking care of yourself a little bit less because you're trying to actually focus on staying stable. But if two of those legs go, so for example, if diet and exercise are both gone and the two tend to be linked, that means your chair only has two legs. Can you sit in a chair with two legs? Well, you can, but it requires that you then start using your two legs plus your core to stabilize to sit in the chair. And it almost has no benefit to you because you're focusing so hard on being stabilized that you're not really getting a recuperative benefit from it. And if one more leg goes, so let's say in the situation, sleep, then now you only have one leg left of the chair and there's no point even trying to sit in it. If you keep those legs relatively intact, you should be able to get throughout the year and keep for that to new year, new you. But it really does take that kind of effort. And that kind of effort really starts with what's the combination of things that I need to be doing in those four categories that keep me at my best.